I will see over it. We will get into it.
And I'm Linda.
Susan.
Susan, nice to meet you.
Yes, nice to meet you.
And you got the video okay? And everything?
Yes.
Okay, good. We have some technical difficulties.
I know.
Jake's getting me set up now to record. Yeah. Let's see. Holster straps. I see you. You have a blanket?
I do.
Did you have any questions?
No, not so far.
Okay, good. I have a massage therapist here, so I have a room to hide things.
Oh.
Like, I have a bunch of blankets, but they're mine, so I can use them. Like, where did they come from? Secret compartment.
That's right.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So Jake, do I just need to, do I have a remote?
Yeah, I mean, if you want to monitor yourself, but
But can I start it, stop it, or do I have to watch?
no, that's continuous. I mean, you could start and stop it, but you definitely have to go over there.
Okay. Is it already going?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay.
Set it on the back of your chair. I'll pick it up.
Okay, yeah, got it.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, goodness, yeah, see. I know, this is why I was not here as early as I like to be here, because my computer kept saying, the printer's out of paper, and it wasn't out of paper. So I had to somehow figure out how to tell it, yes, you have paper. Just to FYI, I had run the troubleshooter, and somehow that day. Oh, that's why I have So Jake, when I'm ready to stop it, I go,
Actually, I mean, when you're ready, when you go to the other side, just hit the end there,
oh, okay,
and that'll stop the recording and the whole class,
okay,
okay?
all right.
Sounds good, and do you wanna keep the monitor on, or I can turn it off with it? Kind of,
No, that's fine like that, because then that helps me to see that I'm in front of the room.
alright. Anything else?
Not good.
Alright, you guys have a good class.
Thank you. All right, well, welcome, how are you guys today? Are you doing all right? Since we're a small group and we are basically social distance, if you want to bring a mask, you're fine, but if you don't want to, you're fine. Yay.
Can I ask a question? Is everybody vaccinated?
All right, well, welcome, Susan.
Thank you.
Can I ask you one question real quick? I have a friend that wanted to come, like, not this coming week, but the next. Is it okay to come, or does she need to, have done the
I
whole
think
series?
that's fine to do it as just a drop in.
Okay.
Yeah, that should be fine. I'll ask about that, but I think she can just come and just pay like, like a class.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, we've got plenty of room, right? So in the little handouts I gave you, there's one that says basic class for prevention, and that's basically what we did last week. So just if you want a little thing to follow. And then the other one that says class 2, it has a little bit more in it. It's maybe a little bit more advanced. I'm going to be given like things that are repeated. We'll probably have a little bit different variation. If you like the one better that was last week, do the one, or your own choice. Because really what this is about is what is going to help your body the most. So it's kind of a trial and error, find out what works, what seems to be the best for you, the best choices. So it's options and things like that. What I wanted to share with you this week, this has been a Bible for me. It's called Kill Your Headache. It is by David Buckles, MD. And the basic premise of this book is that this doctor believes that all headaches are migraines. There's varying degrees and varying, variations, but that basically there's a threshold. He calls it a headache threshold. So those of us that get headaches have a lower threshold. And there's things that kind of raise where you are, and when you cross that threshold, that's when you get the headache. And so there's a lot of factors. This is a few pages from the book that I thought would be helpful, but I would recommend, especially if you have chronic headaches, getting the book and reading it. It's super, super helpful. But see here on the left, on the front, it talks about migraine triggers. So there's your barometric pressure. Have y'all ever felt that? The weather's about to change. Particularly that's more your neck, right? So neck stretches are critical. When you start to feel that, you probably even start to feel your neck get tight, right? So that's when you really want to work at the neck. What the actual mechanics of it is that scar tissue contracts with lower barometric pressure. So if you've got scar tissue in your neck and it starts doing that contraction thing, then that can lead to a headache. So it's about keeping that loosened up. Hormone fluctuations, that was really probably a huge one for me. I suffered from migraines from 40 to 55. So, and I went through menopause at 55. So I still can get one, but not nearly not like why I'm in bed for a day and want someone to put a bullet in my head. They're more manageable. So that was definitely hormones going on there. Some people can be triggered, with sensory things like, you walk by what's the store called, like Bath and Body Works. I can't even go in there, it's like, ugh.
Yeah, it's a lot.
The smells, or cleaning products, or even bright light. Does anybody else have issue with, like, say if you go to drive to Asheville in the morning and you get that strobe effect from the trees, the sunlight through the trees?
I get that with hiking.
Oh, yeah, like that's a typical migraine trigger, like a strobe light or that kind of thing too. But it's like sometimes, and then physical exertion, sleep deprivation and stress, but which some we can control to an extent, but some we can't. And there's a little section there about choosing your battles. I'll let you read that later. What I found really super interesting, if you look at the next page, are dietary triggers, and those are things we can totally control. They're not all for sure across the board, it's more of a trial and error. You might know, like, oh yeah, I know for sure this is one for me. The ones that were like super surprising for me were ones that were my go-tos when I have a headache, like avocado is on here. And avocado's easy to eat, it's not much flavor, right? You know, you think, oh, I'll have some avocado when I have a headache, and I wonder, why did the headache get worse? Oops, yeah, so avocado's not good, it's a good one not a good one for me. But, so these on here are kind of a trial and error. Monosodium glutamate, are you guys careful about that one? Anybody else careful about MSG? It's a pretty big trigger. It is monosodium glutamate. It is. My mom used to have, it was a little thing she used to have in the kitchen called Accent. It's pure monosodium glutamate. It's a flavor enhancer. And I started getting headaches when I was like third grade or something, and it's like, now I'm thinking, I bet it was whenever she used that dang stuff. But it's on like flavored chips, so like nacho cheese Doritos have monosodium glutamate in it. Anything that you think that they put a flavor, check the label. They've gotten smart about trying to hide that it has MSG, so sometimes even if it just says natural flavors, it's MSG. Just say unnatural flavors, right? But this is just a good thing to check through, and you might find some surprises on there, like, oh, pineapple's on here. And I think, you know, I can't, if I'm having a headache, don't eat pineapple, it'll make it worse. The third, there's just some good dietary tips. And again, it mentions that MSG here, oh, and like the very last page, there is things that are MSG and all the different labels they use for it. Yeah, like maltodextrin, you see that in ingredient lists a lot, so it could just be MSG that they call by a different name. And I'll let you read that in more depth. I don't want to take up our time today, but just want to kind of go over it a little bit.
Why is it that, or I don't know, maybe this is something to kind of look up, but why is it that MSG can cause a migraine so easily, yet salt doesn't? Is MSG artificial, or I don't even know?
Yeah, I mean, it's well, like salt is NaCl, so it's sodium chloride. You know, and this is sodium glutamate, so I'm not sure what the glutamate is. But yeah, I know that it definitely, I remember one time, why do I have a headache? I made chicken yellow rice, and I went and looked at the dang yellow rice had MSG in it. And there's only one brand that I've ever found that doesn't, it's called Bella. That, you know, the yellow rice, you get it in a package. But yeah, it's like, I gotta kind of learn to be weird. So I'm not really sure. It's definitely a chemical reaction. Because like, even like what's in the, let's say the avocado or the pineapple, it's like a chemical component of food naturally that triggers. And it's like an adduct. like a cumulative effect. I have a friend who, she even gets a little bit of chocolate, she's gonna get a headache. Yeah, I know, wouldn't that be terrible? She can't have chocolate or red wine. I can't have chocolate and red wine together. I can have chocolate, and I can have red wine, but if I put them together, headache, absolutely, every time. You see that thing that people do,
Yeah, I
like,
can't drink any of the wines because of the sulfates, things in them, so.
yeah, well, see, like, I can only drink wines from Europe, and I'm not sure what, we have more added sulfates in this country. They require a certain amount, whereas they don't in Europe, so. Yeah, if wines tend to, try a, European or Argentinian.
Beer works.
There you go. All right, let's get to it. I can bring it up. Now hear that? Let's see, I'll put it where I can see the time too. All right, so we're just gonna start seated today. So just however you are comfortable. So just closing your eyes, bringing your awareness inside your body. Just allow your awareness to watch your breath. And on your exhales, think of relaxing the tops of your shoulders, relaxing all the little muscles in the face. Just gently let your head rock side to side. You drop over one ear toward one shoulder. Inhaling as you float up. And exhaling over to the other side. Just back and forth a few times with your breath. And then bringing the chin to your chest, lifting the chest up toward your chin. Just take a moment, feel the stretch in the back of the neck. And we're slowly going to take your chin and bring over towards your left shoulder. Inhale, coming back to center. And then exhale over to the right shoulder. Inhale, center. And left. Inhale, center. And right. Just coming back to center, let your head float up. So practice a little breathing technique called alternate nostril breathing. And that's really good for helping calm the mind ahead and like maybe reducing that threshold I talk about in the book. So it can be either hand. You're going to take your thumb, and some people like their pinky, some people like, it can be the second or third finger. Typically, you don't use the index finger, but just one of the others. And so at first, just take your thumb and place it over one side of your nose. And then you're going to inhale in the side that's not closed off. Now you're going to switch, and so close off the side you just breathed into and open up and let it exhale. Then inhale again. So you always switch after you inhale, and then exhale out the other side. So just at your own pace, just take that back and forth, inhaling and exhaling. After you inhale, switch sides. And just allow that hand to flow back down. You can keep your eyes closed if you like, or you might just have a soft gaze. And so as you inhale, begin to take your shoulders forward and then lift them up to your ears, and then as you exhale, back down. Inhale forward and up, and back and down. One more time. And so we're going to take the nose and imagine that you're going to draw a circle with your nose. You can start by down towards your chest, just coming over to the left, up and around. A big circle. And just reverse and go the opposite direction. And then just coming back to center. Inhale for the spine, lift it up nice and tall. Exhale, draw the shoulder blades back and down. Back. So you might imagine you're lifting the breastbone up. One of the things that can help with, particularly with the neck, is proper alignment, but also that we're engaging more of the chest muscles, but relaxing the shoulders. Sometimes when we stand, we have a tendency to have our shoulders tensed. So it's about can we relax the shoulders and use the musculature of the chest and ribcage to hold that ribcage up nice and tall. You also might think of lengthening the back of your neck, lifting the base of the skull up. And so it's like activating and lengthening those neck muscles. And just something you might practice throughout your day, just to make it a habit of which muscles you're engaging. Extend the legs out. If you like, you can keep your hips elevated on your blanket, or you can just come to the mat. If you have really tight hamstrings, it does help to have the hips elevated a little bit. And just let your feet maybe come like hip width apart, maybe a little bit more if you like to be wider. And we're just going to inhale, lifting the spine up. And take a moment just to soften your knees a little bit. So you might bend them up just slightly. And then we're just going to fold forward. So it's a seated forward fold. You can just let your head hang and drop, let that stretch the back of your neck. Just play around with some head movement. You might rock side to side. Just take one more breath here. And just look back up, nice and tall. So we're going to take that right foot on that left inner thigh. Head to knee pose. So if it's a day you're not feeling super energetic, you might, when you do the forward folds, you might just keep your hands down. If you feel like you want more, you could take those arms up overhead, really elongate through the spine, and then as you exhale, come into that forward fold. So see if you can think about those same alignments as we were seated. So bringing the shoulder blades down the back, lifting that base of the skull, so elongating the neck, but at the same time, softening, so you can let that forehead start to just drop. So you're not holding, you're going to lengthen, but then relax. You're not holding tension in the neck. Just take one more breath here. And slowly come up. So we're going to take that leg that's long and just bend. And just start to twist and walk around. So you might have your hand to the outside. You could take that left hand around behind you and just a little gentle seated twist. So I'm pulling this left knee toward my right armpit. Spine nice and tall. Maybe turn and look over your left shoulder. So you could have eyes closed, or you could turn your eyes in the socket and try to look as far as you can. Let's just take 3 deep breaths here. And just gently walk back around to the front. So now we'll lengthen out your right leg and that left foot up on the inner thigh. So inhale, spine nice and tall. Option again, you can take those arms up if you like. And exhale, forward fold. So head to knee pose. And drawing the shoulder blades down your back, lengthen the back of your neck. And soften into it. And just noticing the sensations in your body. Notice where you feel resistance in your body. One more breath here. And just slowly walk that up and spine nice and tall. We'll bend that right knee this time. So twisting around, left hand around the knee, bring your right hand around behind you, twisting that spine. And so this is where you don't really want to overdo it, just find that edge. You know, that feels like a good stretch. You feel like you're releasing tension from your body, not creating tension. Turn your head all the way around to the right. 3 deep breaths. And as you exhale, just release and coming back. Just bring your legs back into comfortable seated position. And we're going to be using the strap, this next one. So this is cow face arms using a strap. So last week we did, holding the elbow. And so if you want to do that one again, that's fine. It's just a different little variation. So you can open up your strap and just hold part of the strap in your right hand. And we're going to take that right hand, reaching down between the shoulder blades. And you want to try to have the elbow, as opposed to being out, more rotated, so the tricep rotated in more towards your cheek. And now with your left hand, you're going to reach back and find the bottom part of that strap. And we're just going to walk the hands closer together. And again, just finding that edge for you. Now what you might do, sometimes what I do here, is kind of use the top one to pull the bottom hand up and then walk it back down. So I'm kind of pulling a little bit as I hold on to try to get them a little bit closer. Now see if I can sit back down without sitting on the strap. And so try to find your best alignment. Spine nice and tall. Reach that elbow up. Just breathe into that. Notice if you're clenching in the shoulders and try to relax. Let's take one more breath here. And then just let go of that left hand, let it come down. And typically that's where you feel it the most. Probably you'll feel that right in the front in here. Yes, I'm just gonna move that until you work that tension out. All right, so to the other side. So holding on the left hand, just let that hand reach down your back. Try the right hand and just find it's challenging, but not too much, not creating more tension in your body. Just breathe into it. You might reach that left elbow up toward the ceiling. Soften the shoulders. Notice what's happening in your neck. Is your neck in alignment? More deep breath here. And then gently release that right hand. Yeah, and just move that right arm to that tension works out. All right, so take a deep breath in, stretching the arms out. Now, reverse it by going into some eagle arms. So where you give yourself a big hug, let your right arm go on top of the left. Nice big hug. Then try to keep the elbows where they are. Hands rotate up, finding that eagle arm position. And then broadening through the shoulders. So imagine you're pressing your shoulders apart and down. You might just hold that. If you like, on an inhale, you can raise the elbows up. And exhale, and pressing down slightly, broadening through the shoulders. Inhale, lift. Exhale, down. And one more time, inhale up. And exhale. And unwrap those arms, take a deep breath in, take a stretch. You might squeeze those shoulder blades just a little bit towards your spine. And now as you exhale, this time left arm goes on top, give yourself a big hug. Try to crawl your fingertips back. And then just kind of squeezing those elbows toward each other, raising this side up. So this is that right palm, right fingers go up on that left palm if you can. Just doing the best you can do. You're drawing the shoulder blades down, lengthening the neck upward. And as you inhale, lift those elbows up. And exhale down. Inhale and lift. And exhale down. One more time, inhale. And exhale. And just gently unwrap. challenging one. And maybe roll the shoulders a little bit. All right, so from here we're going to transition over to hands and knees. If you like, you can put a blanket underneath your knees if you need that little bit of padding. So we want the palms right under the shoulders, knees right under the hips. And going into cow, lifting that tailbone up, lifting the chin. So think about stretching your front body. Push off from your hands as you inhale. And as you exhale, drawing the tailbone under into the cat stretch, rounding the spine, bringing the chin to your chest. Then inhale, flowing back to the cow. And exhale, cat. So I'm going to show you a little variation, water wheel variation. So in that cat stretch, let your hips sink back toward your feet, not all the way, maybe halfway. So as you start to flow into the cow, lifting your tailbone up, and then slide, bend your elbows and let your body slide forward, like you're scooting underneath something. And when you feel that weight shift into your hands, you're going to push, elongate, pull the belly and back to that cat as you slide back. So it's like a circular motion. Inhale, coming forward, and starting to come up. Exhale, rounding and back. Inhale, forward, up, exhale, back and down. And just with your own breath, a few more times around that circle. And then just finding your way back to neutral tabletop. Take a long, slow breath. So we're going to go into thread the needle next. I'm going to show you a different variation. Not, no, I guess I have this camera. Just shift a little bit. Make this work. So when we thread the needle and come through, you can take this leg up. So it's the way my body's turning, this foot up. And I'm gonna walk the feet in that direction. So that you don't fall over backwards. Helps if you take your hand up over your head. And so I'm pushing with this hand just to stabilize. I'm gonna rotate the when I'm on my knee. I'm gonna rotate that foot out and kind of just walk around. And so you can play with this to get, where do you need to be to get the stretch in your neck. So we're looking for the stretch not here, in that space between the spine and the shoulder blade, the rhomboids are kind of coming up. And so it's like fun, you kind of have to play and find that spot where you really feel a good stretch. I even kind of push off a little bit with that right hand. And when you do, if you do find a little place where you're like, whoa, yeah, right there, just imagine you're breathing into it. Breathing right into the center of that tense spot. And then just slowly walk your feet back. Walk your hand back and over in front of that left cheek. And then just gently press back up. All right, so we'll try the other side. Could y'all find it? I know, like a little tense spot. There's a trigger kind of here at the top of the shoulder blade. That's usually for me, when I look forward, I feel that little pull there. Let's try the other side. So taking that right arm through. Okay, make sure you position that hand so that you don't tip over. You might just slowly start to roll back onto that right, like you're trying to roll back onto your back through that right shoulder. As you find a good stretch. And then breathe into it. Take one more breath here. And slowly walk your feet back. And your knee down, bring your hand back. Put that right cheek. And gently up. I'm going to let the body just come down, prone. Bring the hands on the elbows underneath your shoulders for Sphinx. So the focus in Sphinx, especially for the neck and headaches, is more about strengthening the upper body, and relaxing the neck and the shoulders. So press your pelvis, your pubic bone, into the mat. As you inhale, feel like you lengthen up the spine. As you exhale, draw the shoulder blades down the back and lengthen the back of the neck. You get broadening across the front of your chest. Feel like you could imagine trying to look over your right shoulder. Center. As you exhale, look over your left shoulder. And then come back center. And as you exhale, just rolling your chest back down to the mat. So bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, the sides of the chest, and just pressing up. And as you come back, either extended puppy or child, whichever feels better for your body today. So extended puppy is hips right over the knees. And child is releasing those hips back. In either one, you want your forehead to touch something. So it could be a block, it could be a blanket, it could be onto the mat. So just for a few breaths, allow yourself to completely surrender. So you're walking those hands underneath your shoulders. And now a nice long spine. And we're just going to slowly work our way up to standing. So finding your mountain pose, and feet hip width apart. Let's do it here. And so first just thinking about your basic alignment. So imagine you're reaching that tailbone down, turn your heels, lengthening the spine up. And the shoulder blades are drawing down your back and then squeezing in just slightly. And think about what muscles would you use to lift your breastbone up. Chin is in just slightly, lifting the base of the skull upward. So as you inhale, we're going to take the arms up. And then bend the arms so that that forearms is parallel to the floor. And we're going to interlace the fingers and just let the palms of your hands rest on the back of your head. So drawing the shoulder blades down, we're going to imagine you're pressing this forearm up. And at the same time lengthening the neck and drawing the forearm down. So this is position for headstand prep, which we're going to do in a little bit, but I want you to feel it without the weight. All right, so it's like so if you could imagine you're upside down, okay, and the floor was here, like you're pushing away from the floor, and then can you bring the shoulder, lengthen the neck? Can you feel that? Like how you're strengthening like all from here, the neck and the shoulders. And just let that relax. Inhale up. And exhale down. Just roll that shoulder. Get rid of any tension there. All right, so taking the feet out to a wide stance. And typically you want at least about 4 feet apart, more if you're more flexible. And we're going to turn that left foot out. Is that 90 degrees? Good thing. What is that? Bring the arms up shoulder level, so warrior pose. Inhaling, and as you exhale, lunge into the left leg. So we're going to turn the head, and again, don't turn where it hurts. You just want to turn like you're looking towards your left hand, but just find that first little edge. And so the focus here is more in your rib cage, your chest. So the same actions we did in that mountain pose. Can you bring the shoulder blades down? If you're pressing them down your back, feel that press all the way through your arms, and then draw the navel into your spine and lift the breastbone up. Lifting the base of your skull up. Notice if that feels different. Feel a little shift there. One more breath. And so as you inhale, we're going to lengthen that leg, bring those arms up, turn your toes forward, don't just trade sides. So now turning that right foot out, arms come back shoulder level, launching into the right leg. So then shoulders down, lifting the base of the skull up. It's that same action we did with that little headstand prep, right? Lengthening, navel to spine, lifting the breastbone up, and just slowly turn your head to the right. Just you find that first feeling resistance. Imagine that neck is growing taller, up and out from that shoulder girdle. One more breath. And then inhale, lengthening the leg, coming back up. And exhale, arms back shoulder level. We're going to open that left foot out again. So this time going into a triangle pose. And reaching out. Just letting that left hand float down wherever it touches your leg. Right arm reaching up to the ceiling. And again, still here the focus is going to be in the upper body. So can you bring the shoulder blades down the back. Reach, elongate through the neck. Lifting that breastbone up towards your chin. Your eyes might look forward, a little bit more advanced would be looking up toward that right hand. Let's take one more breath. So pressing with your right foot, we're going to engage and lift with the right side of the body. Inhale up. And then just rotate your feet. So now we've got right foot turned out 90 degrees, and then reach out over that right leg, letting that right hand float down. So you don't even have to go that deep in the leg, especially if you're focusing more on a headache prevention type of practice. So here we go. Rolling the shoulders back and down, bring the shoulder blades down your back, with the base of the skull. And then lifting that breastbone up toward your chin. And breathe. One more breath here. So now pressing with the left foot, engage the left side of the body, lifting back up. And just letting your toes turn forward. Have a sense of elongating the spine, again, reaching that tailbone down, lifting the base of the skull up, and forward fold. If you want support, you can always walk the hands down the legs. And just allow the crown of your head to release down toward the floor. Imagine you're releasing any tension from your tailbone. It just flows down your spine, down through the shoulders, down your neck, and just release it out the crown of your head down into the earth. You might wiggle your jaw side to side, releasing the jaw. yourself, walk your hands a little bit over toward the left. That stretch in the back of your leg. And then back to the center, over toward the right. And we're just going to use this to transition back down to the floor. So you might let that right foot turn. Coming back down to your hands and knees. All right, so here we're gonna just play around with headstand prep. Is there any, have you all done headstand prep? Has anyone not done headstand prep before? You haven't done it before, okay. Typically, you probably want a blanket, and it doesn't need to be super thick, but maybe like this level of a fold, that double fold. So we're going to be doing like we did that little practice, interlacing the fingers, the palms are open, and you want your elbows about shoulder width apart. So a good check is this, like that. You grab hold of that upper arm. So you don't want way out here because you don't really have much of a base, right? Almost like a little triangle. So we're going to take that, put that little base down. So we're going to tuck the head, so the top of your head, oh, that's not working. The top of your head goes down onto the blanket. The hands will go along the back of your head. So you're just going to tuck, and just let it, the top of your head come down. And so your thumbs kind of point up toward your shoulders. Now here, we're going to do that little press. Imagine you're pushing away from the floor. Your head might even come off the floor. Push. And the shoulders are back and down. And press. And that might be all you do. Right there. Just working on that stretch. And you could let your head rest down and press. You can alternate that. If you feel like you want to try a little bit more, tuck your toes under. And then lift your knees. So a little bit more weight shifts to your upper body. So just pushing away, drawing the shoulders back and down. And if you pick your knees up, you can put them back down. And just slowly let your head come up. How'd that feel? So you can do that without actually going into a headstand. Sometimes headstand's a little much, can be a lot of pressure on your neck. To practice even more, and you can just watch, or if you want to do it again, do the same thing again. The next step from here, I'm going to try to position my spine so it's vertical. And then just slowly start to tiptoe and walk your toes in toward yourself. And you can even play around with, maybe you could do one leg up, on the other leg. And then bring it back down. So it doesn't even need to be long, just a minute or two is good. Oh, and then you can notice how that feels. Yeah, so imagine your chest is coming more forward, like you're working toward that vertical position. So squeezing shoulders back and chest forward as you're in that position. Yes, good, Susan. just letting yourself come back down, knees down, maybe finding a little child pose just to let release. All right, so we're going to set up for Savasana. I wanted to give you all some different options today. One thing you might try with your blanket is just taking the blanket and making a little bit of a roll. You don't want too much roll. That's going to go underneath your neck. So it's a way of having a little bit of support if your neck's been strained that day, so that you would have it with a little roll, so it supports the back of the neck. Another option, and you can do both, is a bolster under your knees. So you kind of pull it to where it touches the backs of your thighs, so that when you lay back, your knees are supported. So you have that under your knees, little roll underneath your neck. And just take a moment to make any adjustments to your spine. You might draw those shoulder blades together just slightly. Palms are facing upward.
Where's your chin?
It's dropping slightly towards your chest. Yeah, you don't want that neck roll so big that it makes your head tip backwards. And just gently begin to slow down your breathing. Begin to make your inhalation longer and slower and deeper. And as you exhale, imagine that you just let go of any tension. It just melts out the backside of your body, down into the floor, into the earth. So one at a time, bending your knees, bringing your feet up on top of your bolster. And you can just gently sway your knees side to side, getting a little rocking motion in your hips. And just letting yourself knees stay over to one side and let your body roll over onto that same side. You might use that little blanket roll just under your head for a little support. And then using your arms, the arm strength, think about keeping your spine in alignment. Just press yourself up to a seated position. And join your palms at your heart center. Namaste. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna run and stop the recording and then we can see if you have any questions.
Oh, it's another hour.